I'd like to call to order the Village Board regular meeting of October 3rd, 2013, to order at 7:04 p.m. Roll call. Village Clerk Simsky, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Clerk Gunter.
Here.
Clerk Simsky is present. Trustee Addington.
Here.
Trustee Parker.
Here.
Trustee Barry.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Trustee Scott.
Here.
Trustee Seneca. Here. Manager Searle.
Here.
Attorney Zemanek.
Here.
And our Public Works Director and Assistant Manager May.
Very good. If you would
Are you
everybody-
here, yes?
Yeah.
He's not committed, he's not committal.
I'd like to pledge allegiance. Would everybody please rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, I'd like to go to open forum. Is there anybody here who would like to speak under open forum?
I was just going to bring you up.
Linda Sabatka.
Linda Sabatka, we have, would you please state your name and address, please?
Hello, I'm Linda Sabatka. I live 440 South Park Street, and I'm here representing Holy Trinity Jubilee, and I would like to extend an invitation to all residents in Westmont to attend our Jubilee Dinner Gala, October 19th. That's a week and a half from now, and, or
2 weeks.
2 weeks, sorry, 2
Weeks
weeks
from
from Saturday. And it's really a fun thing. I have the invitation. Are we going to show it?
Just set it on the,
To your left,
Here.
right there.
just set it there.
Okay. And if you have any questions, you can call the rectory, and that number is 630-968-1366.
And the cost, Linda?
The cost is $75 a person. It's at the Abington on Butterfield and Route 53. It starts at 6 o'clock. It includes all your food and drink, plus a band, and no silent auctions or anything else. Just enjoy eating and dancing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice
to have
place,
it, yeah.
yeah. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, take it.
Well, thank you, Linda. Okay, I will move on to reports. Board reports, the mayor. I have several items I'd like to have discussed tonight. I think Public Relations Community Director McIntyre, would you like to please come to the podium? And I've got him to talk about something on our webpage. It's called Report a Concern. And I think I want him to kind of highlight that, and then the railroad crossing.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, this new computer that I have does not adapt to this particular adapter, so at upcoming meetings, I will do a visual presentation of this as well. But what we want to do is make sure that the residents of the community are aware that if you have any concern whatsoever, that you want to report to the village for us to take action on, and that can be anything from debris that you think the village maybe needs to pick up, or sometimes there's safety issues. If there's tree branches that grow in front of a stop sign or anything like that, you can go to our website, which is westmont.illinois.gov, and on the left-hand side of the main page there are 4 buttons, and one of those buttons says Report a Concern. Click on that. It gives you an option to make a request. And you click on that, and there's a drop-down menu that probably has about 20 different items that residents can read through and decide what matches their request. And they fill out the form. They can do so anonymously. However, we often get reports from residents who would like to hear back about the status of a report, reporting a concern. So if you want to put down your name, your contact number, then we'll get back in contact with you immediately to let you know what the status is of that concern, and then we'll also get back in touch with you once that concern has been completely taken care of. So we want to make sure residents are aware. You can go to our website and you can you can take care of things along those lines in that manner. But you can also contact me directly. That's one of my roles. And I have a new phone number with the village. It's 630-981-6245. So if any folks need any information whatsoever, that's a number you can call, and I will assist getting you a response.
And then would you like to comment on the railroad closing the crossing?
Absolutely. We finally got confirmation from Burlington Northern that they will begin their reconstruction of the railroad crossing downtown Westmont on Cass Avenue. That's going to begin Thursday, October 17th. They expect that to take about 8 days, weather permitting. They put that in all their press releases. If there's rain delays, then it might last a little bit longer. However, we should also let folks know that when they did their repairs in Clarendon Hills, they actually finished ahead of schedule. So if there's good weather, there's a chance it might happen sooner, but they're basically saying they think it'll be about 8 days, beginning October 17th. With that, Westmont First is working with the downtown businesses to try to create a special promotion to get people to the downtown area during this time, because the detour will funnel people around the downtown area. And I should maybe mention what that route is going to be. On the north side, it'll be Cass and Naperville Road, and all traffic will be detoured to Downers Grove, crossing at Fairview, and then on the south side of the community, that detour will begin at Cass and 55th. Is that accurate, Steve? And so with that, we can kind of learn from what happened at Clarendon Hills just a few weeks ago. Some of those businesses reported to us that the downtown had greatly reduced traffic altogether. And so with that, we're working with the DWBA to stimulate some business promotions in the downtown, and you can look forward to seeing that information here early next week. But they're planning to do something all week long. And I'll just mention one of those events, Sweet and Savory Restaurant is looking to do an Oktoberfest, and that would be on the Saturday after the closure, so that's October 19th. And I think they're thinking from 2 to 9 p.m. And so, but there'll be other events going on that week, and you'll see those promotions coming out.
Very good. Thank you, Larry.
If I could just add, the pedestrian crossing between the depot buildings will remain open, so the pedestrian traffic, school pedestrian, access to both sides of the downtown is still available on foot.
Very good. And since you discussed that, Steve.
Yes, sir.
One of my other items is, recently I've had a couple comments from residents about the alley situation on west of Cass Avenue between 55th Street and Des Moines.
Yes.
So I thought it'd be, if you can give an update.
Sure. Well, the issues regarding the condition of the alley are not a new topic. In fact, they're many years old. The complaints about the condition, I'll just say, were heightened mostly since when the 55th Street Road was in construction. It became very obvious that when that is your only means of access to your property, these properties from 55th to Des Moines, and then actually on the way down to Dallas too, they have no access off Cass Avenue. They have no driveway access. There's no on-street parking. So they rely 100% access to their property from the back. So it is more well used, whether it's their own use, deliveries, visitors, 100% has to use the alley. And as to use their words, it is their street. And it is like all of our, the whole alley issue across town is known, and we've been talking about that a long time. But with respect to these locations, and with the heightened information that came in there, tying it to the road resurfacing project that we intend to initiate next year with the bond initiative we just did, I don't have a good answer today, but we are looking strongly, and had already been looking strongly at trying to figure out how to, it's how it's related to the motor fuel tax funds, which are tied to the bond issue. And as long as that work is applicable, we're going to try and see if we can't do a simple resurfacing in that alley. Mill off all the garbage. It is literally, it's like pothole next to pothole patch throughout the whole thing. It's cobbled. You plow it once, a third of it ends up down on the corner. So not disagreeing with the condition of the alley, but we're looking into doing something about it as soon as next year.
And again, a lot of our alleys need
All of
some
them.
work, but this one specifically, I had a couple of residents comment, and I thought it would be appropriate, just in light of the bond issue. Steve to just give an update of not only that, but other alleys in town too. We have a number of them that are paved.
Particularly through the central business district there, if you would call it pavement, but it's something other than gravel, right?
And if we can build it into part of the program, we're going to try to.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Good. Any questions? And while you're speaking, would you like to update on the electric recycling program that was wrong day in the...
Well, the monthly electronics recycling program that we have in cooperation with DuPage County as well as the Westmont Park District, once a month up at Ty Warner, we have free electronics recycling. Of course, the electronics that as of last January are no longer permitted in the landfill and cannot be in your waste stream anymore. That will be on Friday, October 11th, between 7 and 1.
And I
It
think
is a
the
month.
Neighbors Magazine may have had it listed on the 10th, but it is still on Friday at Ty's South parking lot.
That's correct.
Thank you. All right, another item, I'd like to call Chief Weiss up to the podium. He has a couple items to update the community on. I think one is our 90th celebration.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Thanks for the opportunity to promote a couple good events coming up here. First silent parade on Friday night, October 11th, again, is going to be coming through our village, and I'd like to challenge our residents in Westmont to contact their neighbors, their friends, family, and let's line Chicago Avenue to the east and Naperville Road to the west, all the way to Downers and Clarendon Hills, and let's show our support of the silent parade for the fallen firefighters. So that's happening. It should enter into the village about 7:15 at night. It kicks off in Hinsdale and goes all the way to Lyle and ends at Trinity Lutheran Church on South Route 53, where we have a service. So if you'd like to attend that too, you're more than welcome to come to that church. We usually get there about 20:15. The next item is our open house and celebration. The committee met last night. Things are coming right along. We're all set. We're ready for lots of our residents and families and kids to come to our special day. Our open house is going to be on Sunday, October 13th, starting at 1 o'clock at Headquarters Station at 6015 South Cass. Our special 90th anniversary celebration will start at 3 o'clock and go to 4 o'clock. And I want to let all the residents know that obviously we're expecting a lot of people to come, and we're going to have a parking problem. So the parking is going to be across the street in the strip mall areas, north and south of 61st Street on the west side of Cass Avenue. And we will have police and EMA there to assist the residents get across Cass to attend our event. But we got a lot of special things that are happening. The Lifestar helicopter is going to land. We're going to have our live burn cell. A lot of fun things for the kids, and we're going to have a great day and a great celebration. So, and the last thing, if I could take, Mayor, is talk a little bit about the railroad crossing. The fire department has come up with a plan to staff some of our reserve apparatus north and south of the tracks because of the closing. So we're going to have the same equal amount of ambulance engine and ladder truck in the north and south to protect our residents to respond on any EMS or fire requests. So we're prepared for that, and we should have not any delays, but we have all the way to mutual aid set up with our surrounding towns. We've talked to them, and they're more than willing to come to assist us. So thank
Very
you.
good. Any questions for the chief?
Thank you.
Thank you. A couple more quick items. October the 19th has become a very busy day, but at 1 o'clock, the breakfast, the coffee with the mayor now is going to be lunch with the mayor at the Harvest Restaurant on 63rd. We can take up to 75 people, and they're providing lunch. And we're going to have an agenda. It's an official board meeting, so we're hoping I know that 3 or 4 board members have already responded. We're going to have representatives from the Chamber, School District 60, the business community, so it's going to be like a town hall meeting on the 19th at 1 o'clock. So if you're interested in attending, call Patty, Administrative Secretary, at 630-981-6216. 2 o'clock. Larry's telling me it's 2 o'clock, so.
The village calendar has it as 2. That was going to be.
Yeah, all right, it's 2 o'clock, so we're having a late lunch, early dinner at 2 o'clock on the 19th. All right. So thank you. And then again, this Sunday, there's a last straw event at Veterans Memorial Park, the Gregg House Museum. There'll be activities pretty much from noon till 4 for all ages. So if you enjoy some outside activities, there's fun for everybody. So that's all I have. Clerk Simsky.
First of all, I think we all feel the same way about this. Our condolences to Sergeant Slicker and his family on the loss of his father. As a matter of fact, I got a text from Jim, and I will read it to you. I received a plant basket yesterday from the mayor board and staff for the loss of my grandfather. Could you please convey a big thank you and a hug to everyone? So he was very appreciative of that. So I wanted to be sure and give him and his family condolences. Second, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow night is homecoming at the Westmont High School, so turn out and support this team.
No rain.
We need lots of cheering on for them. And on the 4th and the 5th, the theater group will be presenting on Golden Pond at 7 o'clock at Westview Hills Middle School. That's Friday and Saturday night, and on Sunday at 2 p.m. So go out and support this wonderful group that brings theater to us. Westview Hills Middle School. Tickets are $10 for adults, 7 children and seniors, $2 off for groups of 5 plus. I don't quite understand that. And also, if you have a receipt, you come in with a receipt that you purchased $10 worth of products somewhere in Westmont at any of our businesses, you will get your ticket for half price. So that's my messages for tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Attorney.
Just like to request an executive session for an update on pending litigation involving Hawthorne Bank versus Westmont and Trout versus Westmont. And that's
We will
it.
make sure we do that. Manager Searle.
Thank you. Just a couple of things I wanted to actually ask Chief Dave Weiss to come to the podium again. Just wanted to publicly congratulate Chief Weiss. He was notified, I believe today, that a very new and the top-level certification program that's available through the State Fire Marshal's Office, which is a Fire Officer 4 rating. You're one of the first officers in the state, I assume, to get that recognition. And just want to congratulate you, and there's going to be an official recognition in Peoria on October 15th. That is that part of the Chiefs Conference? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was 40 of us that got chosen through the state to attend this new program to evaluate it, and we went through the whole process. And part of going through the process, it was an 8-hour day, and then writing 3 40-page papers, being evaluated by professors, and then filling a 39-page application out, being evaluated by the state fire marshal. And at the very end, we had to go through the process and had to meet everything just to become certified in it. So it's a brand new chief fire officer certification that the state has never had before that they're taking on. And there's 40 of us that are going to be getting awarded this on the 15th in Peoria. So
We've always encouraged our leadership personnel to go through these classes and test for these fire officer certifications. And you've had your fire officer 3 for how long?
about 18 years.
18 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a brand new,
Yeah.
and this is the top level, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank the manager for his support because, he had to authorize things. He had to write me a letter of recommendation in the application, and without his support allowing us to be able to go and do these things, it's we wouldn't be able to.
It was one of the best pieces of nonfiction I've ever read.
And congratulations.
And then I was going to mention, I was trying to remember, we didn't really talk about our bond rating results, other than the
No, that's staff.
press
should-
release that we issued. I think the last meeting we had, we talked about the fact that we were going to be meeting, or doing a conference call with Standard & Poor's to apply for the village's very first bond rating, and we're very pleased to announce, it's already been announced publicly on the website, that we received a AA+ rating, which in Illinois is an excellent rating. I happened to be at a presentation the other evening. I was listening to our Senator Dillard speak about the state of the village's finances, and he commented, because there were members from the county there who had recently also tried to issue bonds, that we, here in Illinois, because of the wonderful state of our economy and the state of our state's financial health, we pay an extra percentage of interest for all of our debt. But this is our very first time at it, and I'm really pleased and proud of Spencer and his staff. They did a lot of work, and not that, debt is something that you want to issue cavalierly, but as we talked about in the budget process, we've had a need to do some work on our streets and do some stormwater work, and we're really excited to get this rating, and we had a good result of the sale of the bonds, so we're looking forward to working forward to get that program going, as I know our Public Works Directors, you can tell by his excitement on his face how excited he is, so. Just wanted to comment and let the public know that.
And I do have to comment too that, and I think I may have publicly said it, that's not only a reflection on the staff, but a reflection on the leadership of this village before I came in. The questions and the things they look at was very evident that we were head and shoulders above where the normal is, and I think that's the leadership of the board members that are here, the previous boards. Everything that they require, we had, and we've got a sound financial plan. So to the staff and the existing board before, congratulations. That's a.
It really does start with the board. I mean, everybody who's followed, and of course Jim's been involved in village government for a long time. We've always had philosophy as pay as you go, and any kind of debt we've pretty much handled internally with some interdepartmental loans and that sort of thing. But what the downside of that has been is our cash reserves weren't where they were about 12 years ago, where they should have been. And despite the economic downturn, and with the policies and the direction and the decisions made by past boards, including this past board, we've been able to build those reserves back up, and I think that has helped us significantly. So.
Okay, we'll move on to trustees. I'm going to go over to Trustee Barker.
Just a quick note to remind everybody, Westmont First is meeting again Wednesday, October 9th, at 1 Westmont Center at 7 p.m. in the lower level meeting room. And also in a couple of weeks, I'm going to bring back for your appointment, hopefully, we would like to bring Shane Johnson from Sweet and Savory to the Westmont First Core Team membership. He has a background in fundraising and business owner, and he'll be a welcome addition to that program.
So we
bring
can
that
put that
back
on
for a
put it
couple
on
of
the
weeks.
agenda next meeting. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Nero.
Just a couple things related to stormwater. I wanted to give everybody a little update on the rain barrel promotion. As of today, I just got a little note here. We've sold 60 rain barrels with the promotional rate, which I think is more than we probably have ever sold. I don't know how long, but just want to remind every board member and all the public to take advantage of it. It's a great promotion. I installed mine. It was pretty simple, a lot less intense than what I was expecting. So if anybody needs any help, feel free to call me or also call Trustee Barry. I know he's got a lot of experience as well. And the next thing, I wanted to let everybody know that we have a special meeting that's going to be scheduled for October 24th And this is going to be a presentation to the village board by the Stormwater Committee on a little update as to where we are and where we want to go. So that's all I
That'll be
have
at
today.
7 o'clock here.
7 PM in the village boardroom.
On the
Correct.
24th, did you say?
On the 24th, yes. And that's all I have.
Looking
Thank you.
forward to the findings of that committee. I know they've been doing a lot of hard work.
We have, yeah.
Very good. Trustee Seneca.
Thank you. Probably by now, everyone has seen this in the Came with the Progress, which is now the Westmont Suburban Life. We got that email today. It's the Reader's Choice Awards and recognition, the best of all over DuPage County. And I am just so darn proud of our community. It's just amazing. Every category, it seemed like, had somebody from Westmont. Just to name a few of them that were recognized: Expression Dance Studio, Phillips, Uncle Bub's, Standard Market, West Suburban Insurance, King Car Wash, Moondance Diner, Tap House Grill, Papadoo Tunes. But as I say, the granddaddy of them all, Best Festival Taste of Westmont. So I really, really, really want to congratulate WSEC. I know what it takes to put on a festival, as Trustee Addington does, because we did the very first one, which I think 20 people came to. And what you've built that into, it's just incredible. So Westmont Special Events, thank you for putting Westmont on the map again with this great honor. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Addington.
A couple things. First one, most important, is next Friday and Saturday is Westmont Lions Club annual fundraising effort through the entire state of Illinois. But Westmont Lions will be out on the street both Friday and Saturday, so don't aim at us. Just hold money outside and we'll be more than happy to take it from you. But, don't try to run us off the road.
Is that the October 11th and 12th?
Yes.
I'm just want to get the
October
date.
11th and 12th, and we had our district governor was at the Lions Club meeting Tuesday, and he promised excellent weather. We'll see what kind of predictor he is. But Candy Day is important. It's the fundraising arm of our foundation, which raises all the money for all the services that we give. We help about 20,000 people a year through the foundation, so any help that you're willing to give us is most appreciated. Again, we talked a little bit about Sweet and Savory. I want to congratulate them again on an absolutely phenomenal night last night. It was fun, it was energetic, it was attended by just a whole bunch of people, and I thought it was a great night. And we're going to have another one of those for those who can. Another ribbon cutting is on Saturday at Neat and 5?
1.
1, excuse me, 1 o'clock.
Ribbon cutting, 1:30. Event starts at 1.
So, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Barry.
Jim, you took all my, I wanted to remind everyone about the neat, and again, Sweet and Savory was just absolutely wonderful tonight. I should have kicked you, you're right. I do want to remind the residents that there's, and Steve, correct me on this if I go down the wrong, but the brush pickup is back for the fall, and that will be the week of the 13th and the week of the 20th, is that?
Yeah, the week of the 13th, we actually start, it's Sunday the 13th is when you should have your brush out if you're on the north side of the railroad tracks. I hesitate calling it a week because we go past one address each once and we pick up the brush that's out there. So we might be past your location at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Monday and we won't be back. So the brush has to be out that Sunday before the 20th. I get all my best information right out of the Neighbors magazine. So. South side is on October 20th. And the same thing, that's the Sunday. And we will start immediately, like I said, that Monday morning and until we've collected that side of town.
And that was another item I had, is that the Westmont magazine is really rolling along at this point. I think that it has a lot of information, and as Steve just pulled on it, it'll have that information on the brush pickups. And again, this will be the last reminder. I know a lot of people are confused on that issue, but the brush pickup is back, and the next 2 weeks we'll be on it. So, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Scott.
Nothing this evening.
Wow, I saved the best for last.
Thank you.
All right. Something new on our agenda, the first of every month, we're going to put committee reports. So if there's anything from any of these committees that you want to make the board aware of, now's the time. So administration and finance, I think that's Trustee Addington.
Well, we met this evening just before. A couple of things that are on the agenda. One of them you'll hear a little later on, which is this new partnership that we're proposing with the Westmont Chamber for Economic Development. And the other is we talked with the provider of our paramedic service about that contract and the services they give us. But again, well-attended, very positive, lots of good information, and we have another meeting set up for the 14th of October on administration and finance, and of course, public is always welcome. That'll be in the boardroom. No, that'll be
5:30
downstairs.
Down in the employee
14th will
lounge.
be down in the employee lunchroom because of other meetings that day. But public is always welcome.
Yes. Building and zoning.
We haven't met currently, but Shannon and I are working on a lot of items to simplify and to make a streamlined process for when people come into the building and zoning, whatever their needs would be. We're working on streamlining the process. So next month, we'll have some action on it, hopefully. So.
Thank you. Public safety.
Thank you. I believe our next meeting is October 31st, correct? And one of the, I'm sorry?
Halloween night.
Halloween. So we ask everyone to come in costume. But what I'd like to remind everyone, particularly our press, our residents certainly, and our business owners, these meetings are always open to the public, and we encourage people to come and participate. So public safety will be on October 31st, and we're going to have a pretty full agenda. That will be published a week or so ahead of time. And that's the scoop on public safety for now.
Thank you. Public works.
Nothing new. The only thing I'd like to remind everybody is that the Public Works meeting is set for November 14th. And besides that, clean up your yards and get ready for brush pickup. And here we'll remind everybody of the dates, but it's a great service that people beg for in other communities. So it's, take advantage of it. That's all I have.
Public information.
We actually have not had a meeting. We're scheduled, when have we decided to have one, Larry? We will be having one, and I will announce it far in advance, so.
Okay. Code enforcement. Bruce.
We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago. It was kind of lightly attended, but being a new trustee, I was very confident in the staff that is handling that process in the village. I saw code enforcement, but I also compassionate and caring people in those positions. So I was very, very satisfied to learn that as a new trustee.
Very good. Thank you. Moving on to the agenda, item number 6, items to be removed from the consent agenda. Do any of the board members want any item removed from the consent agenda? If not, the consent agenda, Manager Searle, would you please read?
Okay, the following items are on the consent agenda: village board minutes for the village board meeting and regular village board meeting of September 19th.
Can I interrupt you on a second on that? We did have an error. We had trustee Atkinson voting no. Actually, he wasn't present. He was absent that night, so
We could hear him from where he was.
But I think he would have voted no.
he,
Would have.
Yeah, I was in the land of Oz that week, if you remember.
so that was all corrected
Kansas.
before you have to vote on this, so.
So we had, again, the special meeting. Was that on the special meeting and the,
No, the special meeting, no.
okay, just on the regular board meeting on the 19th. In addition to that, we had the finance ordinance number 12 in the amount of $834,010.14. And then we have the following purchase orders: PO 11031904 Burns and McDonald Engineering for $80,000. We have purchase order 11031945 to DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference in the amount of $26,220.57, which is our annual dues, as well as our proportionate share of the debt payment that was a program that was initiated a few years ago. Then we have purchase order 11032008 Phillips Flowers for $15,000. And then we have PO 11031841 to ACT Services in the amount of $9,200. This has to do with doing a review for compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. And so the total purchase order amount is $130,420.57. So combining that with the finance ordinance, it's $964,430.71. Then we have the National Community Planning Month proclamation. Do you want me to read that at this point, or come back and read that
It's,
after I mention the other item? There's
think
one
that-
other item, which is,
yeah, you might as well just go ahead and read it now and finish the whole consent agenda.
okay, well, the other item on the consent agenda is the Downtown Development Life Safety Grant for 20 East Quincy Street. This one was not included in the last list because there was some additional information needed. The background, we've got a remaining balance on the life safety portion of the Downtown Development Grant program. That is zero. The facade grant portion of the Downtown Development Grant is sitting at $13,750. So then I will go back and read the proclamation.
Yes.
This proclamation is for Community Planning Month, whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places, and whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation, and whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories, and whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorse National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and plan implementation make to the quality of our settlements and our environment. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of members of planning commissions and other citizen planners who have contributed to their time and expertise to the improvement of the Village of Westmont, and whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of the Village of Westmont, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now therefore be it resolved that the month of October 2013 is hereby designated as Community Planning Month in the Village of Westmont in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Village of Westmont affixed 3rd day of October of the year of our Lord 2013, signed by the mayor and the clerk. And we have a member of our plan, at least one here this evening, Mr. Pill. And then we have our 2 certified planners, Shannon Malik and, there she is, Jill Ziegler behind us there. So this is in honor of that profession and the importance of planning in our communities and in our regions, and it's more so than ever, I think.
Very good. So I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as Manager Searle just read.
So moved, Addington.
Second, Scott.
On the question. Any questions from the board? Any questions from anybody in the audience? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Unfinished business, there's one item under unfinished, it's temporary moratorium extension. The board to consider an ordinance extending the temporary moratorium on development in an area commonly known as Northeast Acres. Manager Searle.
So the background on this is in 2010, the board approved an ordinance restricting development in an area of the village which has experienced stormwater flooding problems. We're talking about the Northeast Acre area. The ordinance has been revisited and extended annually as the village works toward identifying and budgeting for a solution. This is something we have on our calendar each year to bring back to the board for a review and discussion. The conditions in the defined area haven't changed since adoption of the previous ordinance. Staff recommends extension of the moratorium for a period of 1 additional year while continuing to work with the Stormwater Committee on some longer-range solutions. And our Community Development Director, Shannon Malik, I don't know if you have any other comments you want to make?
I just wanted to point out that this is connected to the 2010 Christopher Burke engineering study that was commissioned after we had a bad flood earlier that particular year. And we're no stranger to continuing poor flood events. So the staff is recommending extension of this, and it is also connected to the update that you'll hear from the Stormwater Committee meeting on the 24th as to where to go from here next.
Shannon, do we have any idea, since we did that, how much development has gone on? I know there's been a couple of homes built.
I believe that Public Works Director May has some figures that were prepared.
So glad you asked. I thought that this morning.
Oh.
Since that time,
This was not planned.
we have actually issued 53 permits in that region, and 6 of them are substantive ones, like either new home construction or significant addition. The rest would be, roofs or sidewalks or sheds, but still investment going on in that quadrant. The other thing I wanted to maybe just point out to qualify, and I know we're tying it to the Stormwater Ad Hoc Committee, but we actually had 3 flooding events in 2010 that inspired this action, and earlier this year in April, we had one, and then that particular one with the FEMA attention that we had a lot of people fill out online, initial assessments on there, and without disclosing their addresses, I just wanted to confirm that there were still 26 people that had a problem there in April in the moratorium area. So we're still in the same position where we're concerned about this until we could have a better long-range plan.
So is this something that, and maybe Steve would want to take this back to the Stormwater Committee, but should we be maybe looking at this and looking at that 30% number and either reducing it or eliminating it, or I don't know. To my recollection, we haven't had anybody come before us asking for more than 30% on new construction, have we?
Not on new construction. I think there may have been one minor addition where they
Yeah,
did.
we did on Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, the Timmermans, I think, they did that.
Sue, my concern from a legal standpoint is, as a property owner, you have certain rights. And this has gone, the moratorium's been, now we're in our 4th year.
Be going into the 4th year, yeah.
Yeah, and, but by having a 30% rule, that's, I think, fairly reasonable. You're allowing for some development while still protecting the village, and if you have a complete moratorium or make it so severe that it's basically impossible to build, you may run into some objections and possibly lawsuits or who knows what from property owners.
Okay, I guess my concern was, is it really helping but this storm was so out of the norm.
It was out of the norm. There's no doubt it's helping, and it's helping preventing us or for anybody from asking for a variance to exceed that too. So, I think it's working well now. Don't have any suggestion to make it more restrictive.
Okay, good.
What is the exact northeast acres? Is there a certain streets that
There,
encompasses?
it was geographically defined. I think I have a map attached to one of these exhibits, if you can bear with me. And Northeast Acres is just the way that it's generally referred to, but it does incorporate some additional properties. So you can see on this map, I apologize that it's in black and white, the boundaries are shown by this dark black line here. And I'll just go over to the west is Cass Avenue, then it notches out and around. To the south is Chicago Avenue. I'm sorry.
Richmond.
Yeah, that's Richmond on the east, and then generally it's 1 block south of Ogden Avenue, or 1 property boundary south of Ogden Avenue.
The commercial property that's on Ogden Avenue is not included in that.
That is correct.
That decision was made because
Thank
they
you.
have very stringent stormwater management controls on their individual properties, so that's addressed separately. In fact, this map was amended once because what's now Standard Market straddled across the line, and so we amended the map to neaten that.
That's where I want to clarify, because Northeast Acres is kind of vague. It's like McIntosh or.
I use that term just to kind of give a geographic reference, knowing that, you know, in your packet, you can probably blow that up much larger if you want to see the exact parcels. But,
Thank you.
That's my fault
For years, no, there was a sign that labeled that area northeast.
That's right.
There's still a sign.
It is in
over
fact
there.
the name of the
There's still a
subdivision.
sign.
And then what I would recommend is if the board would consider a motion to approve the ordinance as presented.
Well, since I'm inside this circle, I'll make that motion to extend.
Second, Scott.
Motion's been made and second. Now, on the question. Any additional questions?
I guess the question to John is, I understand, we've had this discussion in the past about legally what people can do with their property. So let's say construction does happen. It does happen at the 30%. And that construction does not do what it's supposed to by flooding out a neighbor. Even though we have all the safeguards in it, and they were supposed to be done right, and it was engineered and all that, and we still have an issue that's worse for the neighbors on either side than what was there before. Now, I know then we can probably go after the person who built the house, but a lot of times it's, like we've seen in the past, when they were putting in foundations, if the foundation was raised and it wasn't put down deep enough, either make the guy tear it all out, or then you have to make for those allowances, so, for swales and stuff like that, because that happens during construction. So the question is, what happens at that point for the people?
You know, I know there are inspections at various stages along the way, foundation heights, et cetera, so hopefully something would not slip through the cracks. But to be honest, that could happen anywhere in town. So to just pin it on this area and punish these homeowners because one guy could try and break the rules and have an impact on his neighbors, you know, this isn't the only flooding area, so.
It's the worst flooding area, though.
It is. So, you know, when this was enacted, again, my feeling is, you know, typically moratoriums are for a shorter time period. It's a complete ban on whatever activity you have the moratorium on, while a study or something is taking place with the anticipation of reasonably quick action. This we knew was going to take a long time, so that exception was built into it. And personally, I think that exception is important. If you like, I can do some more legal research on how far can we go with the moratorium and what procedures are necessary, et cetera.
But we have to answer to those people that are there. And so the question is, if a house is built and it's been engineered supposedly correctly and it isn't, and it creates more of a problem than is there before, how do you look those people in the eye and say, somebody else wants to build one down the street?
Well, again, you know, I think that goes to inspections and enforcement, and certainly if they've built something contrary to our codes, we'll take legal action. We're doing it right now with a floodplain violation. You know, we have that authority, so presumably they're going to build within codes, and if they don't, they have to answer for it.
And that answer could be?
Tear out the improvements, yeah.
Okay, that's what I want. I want the public to hear.
Yeah.
That we're willing to go to that extent. If that's it, it's just not going to be, okay, we won't let it happen again next time, because,
right,
you know, it
We
wasn't done
actually-
correctly. It means
We're not going to leave.
whatever it has to be done, has to be done.
I think
To
we
correct
actually did that years ago with a house actually in Oakwood that was done illegally, or an extension.
We've had a couple of examples where
I know
people
we've
have
had,
built
we've had a
things.
garage.
Did a foundation.
That were
We
put in.
forced them to
Didn't we-
tear it out.
Yeah.
There was an issue with a foundation.
Given the discussion about this particular area, and, you know, I don't want to speak for the board as a whole, but my guess is you guys would want to enforce that, and
Absolutely.
Well,
Any,
you
additional
guys were
questions?
looking at an application, or the village was looking, not you guys, the village was looking at an application from someone over on Wilmette Street that wanted to do a subdivision, and I think he showed up to look at his property right after the April rain and pulled the application. So, you know, there's an awareness of what's going on, but I'm glad you asked that question, because You know, I still say that there's a house up on Warwick that was just being finished that I still have some questions that if we have another event like we had in April, that may cause some problems for their neighbors. But who knows if we'll ever have another event like that?
We will.
In Westmont,
will.
yeah, probably.
Well, I just want the public to know that we'll go to that extent.
Yes.
That they've heard it,
Bet.
so.
Good point. Any other questions from the public? Any questions? If not, the motion has been made second to approve the ordinance extending the temporary moratorium on the development in the area commonly known as Northeast Acres. Roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Zenika.
Yes.
New business, A, sidewalk sale request. Board to consider a motion granting permission to Jan Easmont of Burbridge Lighting, 42 South Cass, to conduct sidewalk sales on weekends of September 21st to the 22nd and September 28th to the 29th, 2013. Manager Searle.
As you will recall, Ms. Edgemont appeared before us, and this is actually a retroactive approval. We agreed to, in concept, to let it go forward, and that we would put on the next agenda for approval. So that's why it's here.
And I consider a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second, Parker.
Motion been made second. On the question.
I had some concern after, it was presented as a sidewalk sale. Did anyone see it this weekend? It literally looked like they took all the inventory and put it outside. There wasn't really much of a sidewalk sale. It was really just boxes. And I don't think that was quite how it was presented to us. I mean, it was literally just boxes. I don't know if anyone else had witnessed
I
that.
saw it the first weekend, and what I was concerned about is leaving enough sidewalk for people to go up and down the street. And I saw plenty of clearance there, but it was, like you said, it was a number of boxes or cartons. But I did not go over there.
Do we have a definition of what a sidewalk sale?
We don't. We don't regulate the aesthetics of it or how the merchandise has to be displayed. So, if someone comes to the board more in advance, maybe that's a question to ask, and you can condition the permit if you want on that. Otherwise, I think it becomes a little subjective. We could say something like, in an ordinance, all items must be displayed on a table or similar stand in a neat and orderly way, but even then, it becomes a little subjective.
I think her situation's a little unique because lighting fixtures, and they come in a box, and they're in a box, and you can't take, 10 lighting. So, I think it's just a little different than somebody with T-shirts on a rack or tchotchkes on a table, so it, it was bulky, but, I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay, given the nature of the business. I didn't have a problem with it.
I hope it was valuable.
I hope
Yeah,
that it
hope
did
it-
well
And the
for
thing
her,
is,
yeah.
as long as the public safety wasn't jeopardized, so it sounds like it wasn't. so.
Yeah,
There's plenty of room there. There's like an offset, so it actually worked out that way really well.
Good.
I
yeah,
think
she
there's-
seemed to have a lot of room to walk and stuff.
All right. Any other? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Zenika.
Yes,
B, 208 East Chicago Avenue, Rising Goddess Fitness, Special Use Board to consider an ordinance approving a special use permit request from Michelle Tenuta and Lou Prano to allow the operation of a fitness studio on the ground floor in a B2 General Business District. Manager Searle.
Applicant requests to operate a fitness studio in an existing shopping center with 2 instructors. The studio can accommodate 2 classes at a time with a 10-student limit per class. Parking needs are sufficient with the center's private parking lot. The fitness studio will occupy an existing tenant space formerly used as a dance studio, and customers may patronize the other local businesses. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval. Anyway, the petitioners here.
Hi, my name is Michelle Tenuta, and this is my business partner, Barb. We'd like to thank you for allowing us the opportunity this evening to present regarding our request for a special use permit to open our fitness studio, Rising Goddess Fitness in Westmont. We'd like to start first by giving you a little bit of background on ourselves. My background is in finance and real estate. Currently, I'm a vice president at a commercial real estate company in downtown Chicago. I really appreciate the ability to relieve stress through fitness, and in recent years, my passion for fitness naturally grew into becoming a certified fitness instructor.
To reiterate what Michelle just said, we do truly appreciate your time tonight and are really excited to be here. I've been an educator most of my life. I've taught from the preschool level all the way through the college level. Currently, I teach at the high school level, and I also am an adjunct for a local university for the past 12 years. In recent years, my passion for teaching and my desire to live a healthy lifestyle has led me to become a certified fitness instructor. Michelle and I both hold several fitness certifications, including ACE and AFA, group fitness certifications, yoga for pole certification, aerial yoga certification, and we are both Pole Moves Advanced certified instructors. In addition to our certifications, we have both taught aerial fitness at a local studio.
We'd briefly like to give you some insight into our business plan and what we intend to provide. Rising Goddess is a fitness studio that focuses on aerial arts, including silks, aerial yoga, and pole fitness. In addition to those primary offerings, we'll also provide Zumba, hooping, various other types of yoga, and cardio, strength building, and flexibility classes. Our earliest class would start around 9 in the morning, and the latest would run until about 9 p.m., which is consistent with the other businesses currently operating within the plaza. Our studio will have the option to run 2 classes simultaneously, and all class sizes are limited to 10 women or less. Our vision for our business is to provide women with a safe, fun, and supportive fitness environment where they can challenge themselves, form friendships with their classmates, and feel empowered by their successes. We see our facility as a place where women can step outside of their daily routines and invest time into themselves so they leave feeling recharged, confident, and grounded. Our classes extend beyond the typical fitness classes you'd find at your local gym. They're creative, uniquely challenging, and offer the newest modalities for fitness. We know that aerial fitness is a new concept to many people, and so we felt it might be helpful to give you a sneak peek into what our studio space would look like. As you can see from the images, the concept of aerial fitness uses apparatuses such as pole or hammock to perform fitness-based moves. Both apparatuses can be used for yoga-inspired movements as well as dance-based movements. Students will benefit from aerobic exercise, be able to develop core muscle tone, develop entire body strength, and increase flexibility, all while having a creative outlet for expression through movement. Aerial fitness is hugely popular across the entire world, and it's grown to be a major trend in the fitness industry. Locally, having been immersed in the fitness realm, we know the demand for this type of fitness facility to be substantial. In Chicagoland area alone, there's approximately 20 studios that offer some version of aerial fitness. However, none of them currently offer multiple aerial modalities like we will, and we think that makes us especially unique.
We would like to touch briefly on our decision-making process for selecting Westmont as the location for our business. Westmont personally holds a special place in my heart. I lived in the village for about 12 years back in Liberty Park area. My children went to Miller and Westmont Middle School, and my foster daughter went to Westmont High School. When Michelle and I were looking for a studio space to open our business, Westmont was at the very top of our list. We love that it maintains the feeling of a quaint town while still offering the opportunities of a large city, including many events and festivals, which you just mentioned one of that did very well, and which we intend to participate in. Once we started looking more closely at the locations of the other aerial studios in the Chicagoland area, it became even more evident that Westmont would be a great location, and we'll show you why our analysis of that and why we came to that conclusion. So you can see on this map, all the red dots are the other aerial fitness studios in the area, and then this blue dot right here, this blue star, is us. And if you draw a nice big circle around us, you can see that we've tapped into an area that really doesn't have any competitors right around us. It's a wonderful place to start our business. So it's a perfect location. Our competitors are way outside of where we're going to be located. We, in our experience, have seen women drive from over an hour each direction just to find an aerial fitness studio that will suit their needs. Our studio will bring these women into the Westmont community, not only for our classes, but for our planned workshops and for our charity events. Women coming to our studio will not only bring business to our immediate plaza, but we would be where we're located, but they would also be connecting with other local businesses that we intend to partner with throughout the community. We view our use to be mutually beneficial to the village, its residents, and to us as a business.
Upon searching for a specific location within the Westmont community, we happened upon the space at 208 East Chicago. From the moment that we stepped into it, we thought the space was perfect for our use. Having been a former dance studio, the layout was ideal for us. In addition to having 2 separate studios available for classes, we'll also have a room dedicated specifically for merchandise. We'll be selling yoga clothing, leg warmers, yoga mats, grip products, water bottles, and power bars. We feel having a merchandise room will allow women to easily see the display of products that we'll be selling. And from our experience, we know women are constantly looking for the newest products to purchase, and this will have a positive financial impact on the village through tax revenue. Lastly, we'll have a student lounge room within our facility. And we see our facility as a place that women not only go to work out, but also have a place to hang out with their peers and unwind.
In closing, we feel that owning a business comes with a great responsibility to give back to the community. So as a result, we will have our own charity called Giving Goddess. This charity will support local women and children. We intend to have a once-a-month Giving Goddess open house on a Friday night, and all proceeds will be going to local charities. Women will be able to come to the studio and can bring a friend to attend our specialty fitness classes. We will then partner with a local business for an informal after event. We're very excited to establish and grow relationships with the other local businesses so that we can support one another. We also plan to join the Chamber of Commerce and will participate in local festivals and events. Further, we will be offering discounts of our classes to college students, teachers, military personnel, nurses, and seniors. So in closing, we hope that we've provided you with some insight into our business plan. Last month, we presented to the Zoning and Planning Committee and received unanimous approval from that commission. We are thoroughly excited to open our business in Westmont and would be honored to establish a long-term successful relationship with the village. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have and respectfully request your approval of our special use permit.
Very, very well done.
Sounds interesting.
I just have a quick question before we, women only. Is that the, kind of the yoga? So
Sorry, Steve.
Okay. Oh, because Steve is. All right, I heard you say, so it's going to be designed specifically for.
Yeah.
Okay. It's fine. Questions? Any additional?
I know where they're going in. They're just 1 or 2 doors away from Standard Market's corporate offices. So, and that was a dance studio there. So, yeah, you probably have some benefit of the flooring and the other things.
Mm-hmm.
But this is very unique. I think it's going to be exciting.
Thank you.
And you'll have other classes, you said, aside from the aerial. Is there any kind of competitions or anything related to some of that aerial stuff?
Absolutely. Actually, there's talk about it becoming an Olympic sport. So
It is
there's
kind of
petitions
cool.
for it.
I've seen it, and it's
Yeah,
pretty, I
it's-
mean, I could never do it. I'd break
wanna
something.
sign up tonight,
I'd
or-
break something, or
That's what you
sprain
think,
something.
but-
The ceiling would crash in, I don't know. That'd be good if I did it, but that, I think it's really fascinating.
It is. It's really unique, and it was actually featured on the Wall Street Journal recently as, the newest fitness realm.
If you haven't already, I would recommend that you connect with the chamber, because we have a very vibrant Chamber of Commerce, and
And our director's
be
right
very
back there. He
beneficial
probably
to
has an
you.
application in his pocket.
they just happen to be here. The president and the executive director.
Trustee Barker.
I saw the presentation at the Planning and Zoning, and I think it's wonderful. The concern I have, though, is with the music. I didn't get a chance to go up there and see who the neighbor is next door. If there's a building that's directly, or a business directly next door to it, and how the sound travels, and if we do anything for that. I'm aware of a couple of folks that have those situations, and the sound is an issue, and I don't want to have this happen again.
With that dance studio being there, and my daughter took dance there for years, they had music all the time, so I don't think it creates a
I
problem.
never.
Do they have a neighbor, or?
There's no real
They always
residential
had
there.
neighbors when they were.
You get the beauty salon and so.
Yeah, the school.
But they've been
the
there
tutors.
when that dance studio was there, and believe me, she plays music because they dance to it.
Well, then, I would,
Okay. I would think. I hope.
we need a motion
He has
to
a-
Special
Ron
Use
has
Board
it.
to,
The
Can I
manager
ask a
has
question?
oh, I was going to do the motion in question, but go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, because that's what he told me I should do.
I was just curious.
But the motion first, so we make it official?
Yes.
Then I'll make the motion. We're glad to have you in our neighborhood.
Thank you.
Second, Seneca.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the special use. On the question, Manager Searle.
So my question is, this is the same thing as anti-gravity aerial fitness?
Yes.
That's something, a
It's-
variation of?
Yes, it's very similar. So there's lots of different, anti-gravity or aerial fitness options out there, but ours is right in that wheelhouse. It's basically hanging suspended from a hammock, doing yoga poses and that sort of thing. So yeah.
So then my second follow-up question is, what I'm just reading on the internet, it was created by Christopher Harrison, and it shows that men as well as women participate, and I'm wondering in that
Yeah, he wants to.
map
He
that
wants
you
to
show,
sign
I-
up.
Wants to
No,
sign
no,
up.
no, yeah, like if
If
I
you're
can
back,
do it
I
after
don't
my
think
back
so.
surgery, yeah. No, I'm just trying to understand what it is. Are those other sites women only, or is this,
I would say it's probably 75% women only, 25% co-ed. We elected to make it women only because that's where our background's from, and we envision a place where women can go and not have to worry about their male peers there watching them or feeling uncomfortable. It's something about working out, you just feel.
And, I'll go out on a limb here, but I think probably women are easier to work with. They listen better. It's probably just a lot easier.
I'd second that.
I would,
Can we call your husband and ask him that question?
No.
so any questions from the audience? I know, yes.
I've got a comment.
Yes, sir.
In response to Trustee Barker's comment about noise, I raised that issue at Planning and Zoning, asked about noise. I know you guys testified that any noise level, music levels would be
Screaming.
more like a massage salon, type music. It's more sedate music than pounding rock and roll and deep bass music.
Yeah, and I mean, any music that we do have, we are not installing a professional sound system, so it's going to be an iPod dock in the corner. There's not going to be any concerns about, far-traveling sounds or anything like that.
That being said, there was also an email, I think, from a resident or perhaps a tenant there who also expressed some concern about potential noise problems. I was once upon a time contacted by a doctor who leased next to a Jenny Craig's studio, and she had nonstop problems with noise when she was trying to examine patients, with a separation wall. So we've built into the ordinance language that says if there's a noise complaint, the village will, staff will go out and inspect and try and resolve any differences with you. And failing to come to a resolution, we'll determine whether there's an ordinance violation with the noise levels, and if necessary, issue citations, or can bring the matter before you for a hearing as to whether there's been a violation of the special use, special conditions, not to have unreasonable noise, and you have the power to revoke the special use permit if noise becomes a persistent issue.
Only my screams when I try it.
Well, we had a dance studio there before, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
If this was a dentist office or something, I mean, not saying that you're wrong, John, but I'm just saying, was there complaints about the dance studio that was there before
I don't
by any of the
remember.
tenants?
I don't remember ever getting.
I kind of enjoy going into the bank and hearing the walls vibrate from right here at the Metro.
And just to clarify, John, why would it be a special use in the B2 there?
Fitness studios are a teaching class, and so we have grouped, from a zoning perspective, any sort of class where there's a potential for a large congregation of people as a special use, so we can control things like noise, parking, hours of operation, things like that.
Okay.
Very good.
Sounds really
I
interesting.
think
I think it'll be good.
And any additional questions, other than when would you be open, when do you plan on being open?
Our opening date?
Yes.
We're hoping for around December 1st.
Wow.
Okay, good. All right, the roll call, please.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nebo?
Yes.
Congratulations and good luck.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Welcome to Westmont.
Welcome.
Or in your case, welcome back to
Welcome back to Westmont, yeah, it's not far away, I'm in Darien, so.
Great. Thank you. Agenda item C, Westmont Economic Development Partnership. The board to consider an ordinance approving an agreement between the Village of Westmont and the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau for a Westmont Economic Development Partnership. Manager Searle.
This agreement provides for a framework for funding for a public-private partnership between the village and the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau to implement a proactive economic development infrastructure that will focus on new business recruitment along with business retention. The funding will come from hotel motel tax revenues, and the funding for this has been previously budgeted and appropriated. And as Trustee Addington mentioned earlier, we heard a presentation at our committee meeting earlier this evening, and for the benefit of the people watching this evening's meeting, we have our same two gentlemen. They're going to make that presentation for the board.
Good evening, Mayor, Village Board members, and those watching at home. Before we begin, I just want to double check, does everybody have a copy of the handout that we handed out earlier? If you need one, we have a couple extra here. If not, we'll go ahead and start.
I don't think it's necessary, but go ahead and introduce yourselves for the TV audience.
By all means, my name is Larry Forsberg. I serve as the Executive Director of the Westmont Chamber, and joining me this evening is Mr. Greg Bill, who is the President of the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing us to present tonight.
So we're going to go through and touch on those slides. We're not going to read and speak to every, read a copy to everyone, but we'll speak to each one. We'll begin with Mr. Bill.
First of all, I guess it's important to define what is the Economic Development Partnership. And the Economic Development Partnership is a private-public partnership between the Village of Westmont and the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau, utilizing a platform that's going to allow us to create and manage a structure designed to grow and strengthen the economic well-being of Westmont. We're going to do this utilizing the existing chamber platform with its over 240 members, and this will allow the partnership expanded economic development for the village with less investment and associated costs than if it had been done solo or by itself. The chamber board, along with the village officials, have spent the past 4 months, maybe even 5 months, working and developing this plan with countless revisions with the goal of creating a plan that meets the needs of the community, the village, and the chamber. Larry?
Thank you. One of the key questions that we want to answer is why have a Westmont Economic Development Partnership? Well, we see that there's really 3 key reasons. One is economic vitality. Our business community is very critical to the success of our community. Sales tax revenue is the #1 revenue stream for our community. So anything that we can do to build and expand that revenue stream is a win-win for everybody. Secondly, competition. When we look not only at our neighboring communities, but communities in the greater Chicago area and even across the country, there are other communities that are already taking this activity, have it in place, some for a few years, some for 10 to 15 years, and are doing quite well with it. So for us to be competitive, we need to be in that same arena and providing the same type of resources and marketing activities in order to compete with them. And third, but not last, earlier this year when the village board and staff was working on their budget, they identified a need for an individual to work on economic development and community relations. So we took some of those needs and we basically built it into this proposal and felt that we had the basis for a really solid plan. So that's why we felt it was important to come up with this Westmont Economic Development proposal. The vision and goals of this group are basically tied to a couple different things. One is our comprehensive plan, and one of the sheets in your handout is an overview of some of the key goals that are related to that comprehensive plan that was approved back in February. And so you can see that we're going to tie right back to those goals. The other is to utilize the existing infrastructure that we already have in place. We've got a great staff, we've got a great team, we've got great resources, the Economic Development Committee, our chamber leaders, all those people working together, I believe gives some great efficiencies. So that is what we're going to use to reach the goal and visions of this proposal. How's it going to benefit our community? Basically, the benefits are going to come from a very comprehensive marketing plan, a very aggressive marketing plan, new tools that are going to be put in place, website, social media, our staff providing, even escalating the exceptional customer service we provide already in helping individuals, site selectors, developers who are looking for locations, or either to open a new business or to expand, to help them navigate that process. We're going to use the Economic Development Committee more proactively, more interactively. We're going to start up a rapid response team, so when those inquiries come in, we're going to have an opportunity to respond quickly, effectively, and efficiently.
In much the same way that the consumer looks and does research on product selection and purchases, the same thing happens with businesses. So if a business goes out and knocks on 10 different villages or towns' doors and is looking for space, is looking for help, is looking for guidance in establishing a business or moving or relocating a business, and only 2 of those 10 towns answer the door, we want to be one of those 2. So this rapid response team, which will be a varying team and might have someone from the fire department, someone from building and zoning on it, someone from public works, whatever, depending on the needs of that business, will be able to respond and provide quick answers. And hopefully we can attract that business into our town, growing our business base, our sales tax base, and providing a healthier environment for the entire village. So it interacts in much like consumers do when they're looking to buy something or purchase something from their home.
Who are the stakeholders in this? When we look at the stakeholders, we paint a pretty broad stroke with this. We're looking at basically those who are involved in commercial development, realtors, village staff, chamber, our residents. Everybody's going to be key stakeholders in this. And what we feel is very important, where we're going to create a lot of value, is by creating strong and cohesive relationships with those stakeholders. From my experience in working with the chamber, having close working relationships with others already in place helps expedite things. By us providing things like broker tours, having annual events where we bring these key stakeholders together, help them understand what's going on in our community, what our vision is for our community, and what we plan on doing, that's going to give us an opportunity to get a head start from some of our competition. When can we implement this? This has been a process that's been in place for just a little bit over 4 months in developing this plan. We think we're pretty much ready to go. We know we're ready to go November 1st, subject to approval. With that being said, there's a lot of steps. If you go into the part of the plan, you can see that there's many details attached to getting this up and running. We would very much like to initiate a branding program, a process that will help us then create a strong marketing plan, which then is going to help us build a very strong website, help us have very interactive social media tools. I mean, those are all things that we need to build awareness, to create connectivity, and to help us establish and maintain those relationships that are critical with these stakeholders on an ongoing basis.
Many of you have listened to commercials on the radio, particularly about other communities and their economic development and touting the benefits and things like that. We may not be at that extreme level, or nor at that budget level, but it's important that we understand and we implement and we work together to develop a brand so that we have, because we have a great product here. We've got a great location and there's a lot of assets. We need to tout those, we need to make sure that people are aware of them, and we need to be able to actively engage the business community so that we can move forward in developing this entire plan.
We'd like to be able to talk more than just about our water supply, although, Steve, it's a great water supply. What are the costs? A key question, obviously, in any type of program or proposal. When we look at this, we kind of break it into 2 categories. We have our initial startup cost, which we estimate to be about $30,000. And again, in your proposal, those are very finely broken out in great detail. Then our ongoing annual cost in terms of infrastructure, marketing materials, labor, fees for technology, and so forth. We estimate that to be in the area of about $65,000. Now, with this program starting pretty much mid-year through the village's fiscal year, we would obviously be prorating that, so we'd be right about half of that, if we start November 1st, and then go through April 30th with this first part of the program. So again, the next steps, basically, at this point,
The only exception is.
subject to approval, we're ready to start implementing these steps that are outlined in the plan. We are basically well prepared, we believe, to help the community be as successful as it could possibly be. I think we've got a great talent pool in our community. Again, we've got great resources on staff. We've got great resources in our business community. I just think I just can see the success. I really can. So at this point, we're just going to open it up for questions and provide any answers that
You want to put it officially on the table and then do questions?
Yeah, we can entertain a motion to.
I'll make the motion to approve this.
Second, Nero.
And again, it's an agreement for the Westmont Economic Development Proposal between the Village of Westmont and the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau. Motion's been made and second on the question. We've saw this presentation earlier. We're excited about it. I think this gives us the vehicle for us to attract new business. And I think I'm very much excited that the Chamber has undertaken this for us. And I think especially with Larry and McIntyre now, our new community relations position, I think together we can attract a lot of businesses in this town. So I'm kind of excited about it. Trustee
I think just to piggyback again, that with the ongoing TIFs, with your representation, Larry, I think that the timing is right. I think, again, we've met on this, we've been working on it for 4 months. The residents may think that this kind of came up fast, but there's been so much work. And I really think that this is where Westmont starts to turn the corner. And I think that this is going to be looked back on historically as really when we turn the corner with economic development.
Well, I think as our chamber president told us in the committee meeting, their last several chamber functions have been attended by more people than ever. He sees a lot of excitement and a lot of enthusiasm with what's going on. I agree with what Trustee Barry said, is I think that this is something that's going to work in our favor. If this was in place a few weeks ago, there was an article in the Chicago papers about businesses that were leaving a community to the south of us. With this in place, we could put a group together to go visit that business that wants to relocate in, and I think it was Decatur. And this is what this will do, is give us the opportunity to put teams together of folks who would understand that particular business and go, not wait for them to come to us, go down there and say, we're here. So I think there's a lot of positives to this. This again, as I said when we got together earlier in the week to finalize this thing, the prior board started this ball rolling with the budget process. They put the money, they budgeted the money in place to make this thing happen. This is an initiative that Mayor Gunther wanted to have early on, and now we're at the stage where let's make it happen.
Any other comments?
I would just like to congratulate the mayor on the vision to put this team together. Excellent.
Thank you. I think they did a lot of work, so.
Well, it's an excellent program, but you need excellent people running it too. And that's what we've got in place.
Absolutely.
You guys, your team will be there, and again, with the mayor's leadership here.
We're in good hands.
Absolutely.
Well, and when they start putting their packages of things together to get this thing out, I hope the heck that Westmont First is in there, because I think that says a lot. You made a great presentation at the Lions Club on Tuesday night again. Not only Westmont First, buy in Westmont, but also the Westmont Care portion of it. I think that goes a long way to show who we are and what we are.
We're all in it together.
Yes.
That's right. Again, staff also, I know Shannon and Larry and Ron, Steve are all on board so that we work as a team, and I think that's the whole approach. I know, Greg, we were talking about that earlier. We're all on board. We're all going to work together to bring.
It's a synergistic approach, and it has to be that way.
Yes.
We want to create the excitement.
Yeah.
If no other questions, the attorney.
Throw something at him.
Yeah, so you have an agreement in front of you. I got pulled into this just this week, so I apologize for getting this to you late. I didn't email it out until this afternoon. Essentially, the email, or the agreement just says, the obligations of the parties are as set forth in the attached proposal, but there are a few things I wanted to bring up. One that I discussed with these guys on Tuesday, and one is the term. We agreed to have the term run through the current term of the elected officials, I guess the first to expire of the elected officials, which is through the end of April 2015. So the funding that you're agreeing to at this point from hotel motel tax revenues will be through that time period. Thereafter, it's going to renew for successive 2-year periods, which will, again, keep in lockstep with the term of the shortest term of the current board members. And right now, let's see, there's a one-time $30,000 payment. I put in there to be paid within 60 days of the effective date of the agreement. That wasn't really discussed. Something we'll need to discuss in further detail, I guess.
Yes, we would, and one of the things that we mentioned earlier that we didn't mention during our presentation here is we talk about the term of a year and a half to 2 years. Or we plan on being we need to be very transparent with this. There will be monthly financial reports, there'll be monthly progress reports, we're going to have metrics in place. So I don't want anybody to think, we're going to disappear for 2 years and we'll see you then. This is a highly interactive program that we're putting together. And so, yeah, we can kind of sort out those details.
But the agreement does address things like that, such as these monthly metric accounting reports and year-end financial summaries and budget requests, things like that, to not only show where the money's been spent, but in future years, what you're anticipating.
And we may need to look at the 60 days. That's something I think you also put language in that it could be amended with minor things could be discussed of things. Because I think some of the things, the building blocks, like website design and things, those are going to come up front. And the sooner we can get those up and running, there'll be certain design time in there. But that's something we can take a look at, and it might have minor modifications to that.
So the ordinance, approving the agreement gives, the mayor and myself as attorney authority to make minor modifications to the agreement. We'll come back to you if anything significant comes up.
But we can't delay this thing.
No, let's do it.
I'm just afraid that 60 days puts them.
Within 60 days.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I had no idea when I drafted this how quickly we could get that initial payment, so I wanted to give the village some time.
Okay.
But if we can do it next week, do it next week.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yep.
No.
Any
Any
other questions? Staff, anybody in the audience? Again, as John said, we're actually, the motion is. Spencer has one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, just a brief comment or question about that, the $30,000 payment. The typical process is it would go in front of the board as a purchase order on one meeting, and then on the following meeting, we'd approve the payment separately, which would then take 2 board meetings. If the board would like, we could, as we do occasionally, do them as a simultaneous. So the board will be approving the purchase order on the purchase order section, and then also approving the payment of the check in the finance ordinance at the same time. So we can take care of it at the next
I
meeting.
have no problem with that.
Okay.
That works.
That's perfect.
That's good.
Sure, where we
Get
can
her
do that.
done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Spencer.
Okay.
We're early enough in October where that won't be, there won't need to be any special handling, because we'll be taking it to the chamber board in 2 weeks if this is met with approval. And so that already fits right into the cycle, and that would not be a problem. I just didn't want to have something that could end up at the first of the year, because I think by then we plan on having quite a few things established already by that time.
And again, your chamber board has basically blessed this, and you're just taking it back to get final approval?
That's correct. We've been involved with them from day one. The executive board has already signed off on the present, on the, not the actual agreement that you've drawn up, because obviously they haven't seen that yet, but the attachments to that agreement were approved already by our executive board, and we were authorized by our full board to move ahead with the project.
Great.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the ordinance which approves the agreement. So we already had the motion made second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Very good. We're looking forward to the partnership.
We're looking forward to
Yeah.
success.
Thank you.
Great,
Thank you
thanks,
all
guys.
for your product.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New business D, Smoke-Free Illinois Act. Board to consider an ordinance adopting the Smoke-Free Illinois Act by reference with amendments specific to the village of Westmont. Manager Searle.
Okay, this ordinance will adopt the Smoke-Free Illinois Act by reference, allowing local law enforcement and prosecution. Currently, violations are to be forwarded to the DuPage County Health Department for disposition. Staff is recommending this ordinance by reference with amendments specific to the village of Westmont, and I'll open it up to comments from the chief. He's the one who initiated this particular item for the agenda.
Tom, is my address included in this? And stop Jimmy from smoking.
Only if you're 15 feet away from the doorway. The driving force was this was a couple weeks ago, a resident came in about labor ready. And our officers in their observation and investigations there saw that one of the main violations was people smoking within 15 feet of the entrance. This is a Smoke-Free Illinois Act, went into effect several years ago. The village never enacted any local ordinances nor had any local control. So if we were to cite someone with a violation on this, it goes to the health department. It's not really so much as a criminal or a local civil action taken by the village. It's not handled by our prosecutor. It's all handled by the health department, which could even, when talking to our prosecutor, could even be down in Springfield. So it's our village prosecutor's recommendation. We create a local ordinance to handle these issues if and when they arise. This could be anywhere, any public building. You have to be a certain distance, I believe it's 15 feet away from the entrance of that. This also could become useful to us in the future if we have any other complaints that officers could handle either with a parking ticket citation. It's not so much a criminal complaint or a complaint where they have to come in a station, post a bond. It could just be issued a parking ticket and handled that way.
So where does that leave a business that has like an outdoor smoking area that's attached?
Most are right now. If you look at a lot of our liquor license establishments, they have smoking containers or ashtrays and everything more than 15 feet away. They have to instruct their patrons that they can't. Most have been in compliance. It's just that we noticed this with Labor Ready was the one. It's just pretty much, since this has been enacted, we've seen general compliance everywhere, but there could be instances in the future where we could enact or use this tactic.
But this allows us to do a little more control with, like the one you just mentioned.
Correct.
Okay.
And also, too, this is more directed towards the person actually smoking, not the business owner.
Right.
So if you're standing within less than 15 feet, the person doing the smoking gets the citation, not the business owner.
But a person like Tracy at DJ's, where she has that outdoor attached garden, that's not 15 feet away.
No, but they can't smoke in that because that's a public area. It has to be, they have to, like as we have it in our village, it's designated smoking areas.
And that's been that's the law now.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just right now, if we were to cite someone, it's just a cumbersome process where we could handle this, as our village prosecutor mentioned, handle it locally. She would prosecute it for us at a local field court if necessary.
And if we were going to, if it goes through, would that be something, and hopefully Larry could be on that as a communications, where we would be out there, we know it's been the rule, but remind them, and I assume we'd have to tape measure off, because I have to think a lot of these aren't obeying that 15 foot at this point.
Well, just driving around town, it's like, a foot in many cases.
I was
So
at a
I would hope we
restaurant-
would first do warnings and just kind of
Right.
informational. And
Well, this is, again, it's sometimes it's complaint driven. If we get a complaint, as we'd have with Labor Ready. When speaking with Labor Ready, they said there is a problem. They've seen that there's been a problem, yet they can't get compliance from their people, and they've asked people. Most of the businesses, again, we've received, when this act went into effect, we receive some complaints, and most have been compliant. Our officers could also give verbal warnings. They could issue warnings, or they could issue the citation. It just gives them another tool in their toolbox to use.
Have we cited anybody?
No,
recently?
we have not, because of this process being so cumbersome. That's why, especially at Labor Ready, we wanted to wait to see how this would go before they've asked for compliance. It's just we wanted to have the ordinance in effect.
Okay. And you can look at several businesses at halftime of any game, they're within several feet of the door, especially it depends on the weather outside, so.
I was at a restaurant where the health department actually showed up, and they were shocked that somebody had complained, and then the health department actually, at Walsh's, actually, they were on the patio versus being away from it, and so they've put signs out there, they've relocated their chair and their drop box, but again, it's hard to control.
Yeah, I noticed Walsh's is now up close to
Because the health
Naperville Road,
department was
yeah. And again, people could call the health department. Normally, they call us first to complain, so the
Yeah.
officers would be the first line of
A lot
response.
of people are allergic to the smoke, so.
Right.
Yeah, but I think if we give fair warning and, as Trustee Barry said, get the word out, and then maybe the first couple times you say, hey, can't do this, and then the third
And
time
again,
you say,
too-
guess what, ticket.
I know our officers in the past, when this act first was enacted, we would make warnings, and people
Yeah.
would comply. But of course, you may run across the one person now who says, this is your third warning. At some point, we have to do more than just ask you politely.
Yeah.
And again, it's complaint driven.
Right, the officers could see a violation depending on the case. It's up to the officer's discretion comes in place, but a lot are, as I said, Labor Ready is complaint driven, as would be other places as well.
An ordinance adopting the smoke-free, anybody would like to make that motion?
So move, Seneca.
Second, Scott.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Seneca. Yes. Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
No.
Okay, the.
Wait a
oh,
minute,
I'm sorry.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Mark them absent.
And mark them absent.
The agenda item E, Townhomes of Fairmont amended agreements. I have been asked by the attorney to seek a motion to postpone.
So move, Seneca.
Second, Nero.
Motion to postpone this agenda item. Been made and seconded. Anybody have a question, or John, would you like to?
Yeah, I've recently conveyed some comments to the developer's attorney. Hadn't heard back from him. I advised him it was on the agenda for this Thursday, as we had previously discussed, and I had promised him. Hadn't heard an email response to some of my questions and comments. Tried to call him this afternoon, left him a voice message. They're obviously not here. We're still working out a few things, so hopefully by the next agenda, we're ready to move forward with this.
Any additional questions? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
That
Agenda.
was such a nice tone, Jim.
I didn't hear him.
I have to, Harold didn't hear me, yeah.
He's deaf from the previous time he yelled at him. Agenda item 10, miscellaneous. Are there any other items?
I have one quick thing I forgot, stormwater related. I just want to update the board that about 2 months ago, and also thank one of our county board members, Brian Krajewski. I reached out to him. He's one of District 3 county board members, and he put me in contact with the stormwater department at the county that provides a service to municipalities within the county to clean up the storms, the streams and waterways. And they do it professionally with a contractor, and they have to meet certain criteria and safety issues and a bunch of things. And about a month ago, I walked St. Joseph's Creek from 63rd and Williams all the way through Twin Lakes Golf Course. And fortunate to Westmont, the job was awarded. We will be having a professional contractor come through, remove stumps, remove garbage, remove everything that impacts the waterway at no cost to the village. This will be happening potentially the week of the 14th, if not the following week. Residents will be notified by the county. They do have jurisdiction just to go on the property, but as a goodwill gesture, they are going to notify them as well. If anybody's any questions, feel free to ask, but it's a free service to clean up the
great.
water and hopefully.
Great.
Well, thank you for
Steve.
looking into this.
Good work,
That's great.
So that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Any other miscellaneous items? None. Executive session, this, we may adjourn to closed session, discuss matters so permitted, and may act upon such matters upon returning to open session if we so deem necessary. Since there is no further business, I'll entertain a motion to go in executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation involving Hawthorne Bank versus Westmont and Trout versus Westmont.
So move, Scott.
Second, Addington.
Motion's been made, second to go into executive session. Roll call, please.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Addington.
Yes.
Trustee Cindy.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Okay, we will adjourn to executive session, and there will not be any additional material for
You
me
guys can go home to your families.